Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Come on, Sid, look up. We're on, we're ready. God, he's a bit grumpy, isn't he?
Prickly.
Yes. Just because it's midnight and everyone's asleep in the house, he's got to behave and he's scared about Real Oviedo.
Oh, no.
Oh,
we should be.
Yeah, exactly. So did you have the chance to go to Wembley and you turned it down because you wanted to go to A-Bar, Sid?
It was a little more complex than that. It wasn't A-Bar driven, the decision.
Maybe that's
upset.
Maybe that's why he's prickly.
Well, yeah, exactly. Some politics there. Blame Gab.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gab, or maybe Alex Kirkland got his elbows out.
Oh.
Say that. For everyone, how did you approach the day before a big
Me and Alex
game?
are both here this weekend.
Oh, are you?
So
Someone else.
So obviously,
both from
Alex
Madrid,
is not
yeah.
the problem.
No.
He didn't say anything about Gab. There you
Gab.
go.
We'll blame Gab. That's easy enough. Blame Gab for everything. How did you approach the day for a big game, Stevie?
Exact same as every other game.
You exactly the same?
Exactly the same.
You had to have your nap?
Exactly.
Your pint of Coke?
Yeah. I always used to get annoyed because the MLS Cup final
Right.
the day before, and I'll tell you, it is an absolute pain in the backside because it almost feels as though the front office are only interested in what they need to get done to suit them.
So it's like a media day, is it? Like
Oh
media
yeah, and
that
there's
sort of
people.
thing?
There's like 7 million interviews and
Right.
talks, and they want the players to go here, there, and everywhere. And of course, I wasn't used to this. I was like, "What's going on here? We've got a final tomorrow." And they're getting pulled left, right, and centre. I mean, to be a player, it must have been a pest as well.
Yeah, and it used to be, back in those days, I imagine that it was an effort by the league to try to get the message out as loudly as possible that, hey, the defining moment of the season takes place tomorrow, but that meant that you had to go and do morning shows, and you had to go and do interviews, and you had to go and promote that MLS Cup is happening. It's happening here, in your city. Yes, I don't know. You didn't know? Now you know. You had to go and promote. And because you had to go and promote, it almost felt like the promotion was more important than the actual game or the preparation for the game for the players.
Building the brand was more...
Well, yes, getting the idea and the thought and the information out there that the game is being played was more important than actually us going through a training session that would prepare us for the crowning moment that would be the next day. I suppose that those were early days MLS. Hopefully that has improved, but yeah, that was the reality back then.
Sid, how do you prepare before a big article?
Cup of coffee.
Well,
chocolate
I was
biscuit.
actually just thinking, as you were talking about that I believe, Dan, there's a video of Stevie Nicol preparing on FA Cup final day, so it's not just in MLS, is it? It happens in England as well, or it used to happen in England. I'm struck by the fact that this is on the day before the game rather than the build-up. So obviously Real Madrid and Dortmund have both done media days this week, but that was on Monday and Tuesday to give them time to do the rest of it. From the point of view of how does a journalist prepare for a big game? I mean, you prepare insofar as you try.
We should ask a
and
journalist
have
who's
as
actually
much
going to the game,
information,
maybe.
as many
Yeah,
ideas
we'll
ready as
We'll
possible.
get Gab on the phone.
Good idea,
Well,
ask
how
Gab.
about you just ask a journalist?
I will tell you, though, that just very quickly, when you see players ahead of a big game and they're acting differently
Right.
than they
That's
do
a red flag.
usually, you kind of go, oh, no.
Right.
Because you're starting to see...
Head's gone.
Yeah, you're like, oh, no. Some guy who's usually serious now, he's all jokey, and you're like,
You talking about yourself?
no, I was serious all the time there. Serious all the time.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Mr. Sid, start, bench, drop, sell. These 4 players. Xavi, Iniesta, Cruz, Modric.
Wow. Oh, God.
Cazorla.
Start Modric. Yeah, exactly. Cazorla, Mata, Michu. Esteban in goal. Right, OK, you start Modric. You put Xavi on the bench. Oh, man. Cruz or Iniesta. You can't do that to me. And you defy the president and you say, I'm not selling anyone. There you go.
No. Come on, Sid. Gab would do it.
All right, OK. Sell Cruz, keep Iniesta.
Sell
No,
Cruz?
sell Iniesta. Sell Iniesta, keep Cruz. No, you can't do that. It's awful.
Stephen,
God, that's hard, isn't it?
it is hard.
Well, you got to keep Iniesta and Xavi together, so you'd have to start one and put the other one on the bench.
Right.
Bring them on so they stay together. So then you'd sell. Who's younger of the two?
Well,
Cruz.
well,
Sell
yes,
Cruz.
but he's retiring.
Yeah, but you just don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone
Don't
he's
tell
buying them.
anybody who's retired and buying them. Like, oh, by the way, I forgot. Yeah. Yeah, you can't split up Xavi and Iniesta. I'm
Right.
sorry. Cruz and Modric together were really, really good, but they weren't as good as Xavi and Iniesta together.
Right.
So I've got to keep the two of them together. So I'm going to sell Cruz because he's younger and don't tell anybody he's retiring,
Okay.
and drop Modric.
Right. Iniesta and Xavi are both older. If we're bringing age into this,
Yeah, if that's a determining factor.
and they are both retired.
I didn't quite cover my bases.
Ali?
I think you start Xavi, bench Iniesta, keep Modric, sell Cruz.
What about Dan? Loved your segment on ESPN Bet Live. I was on ESPN Bet Live yesterday.
Big time.
Brilliant.
Coming up in the world.
Oh,
this one.
exactly.
Hey.
Got any parlays for the Champions League final that I should keep my eye on? I'm trying to remember what my bets were. Three-way handicap, take Real Madrid -1, Real Madrid winning half-time and full-time, and Toni Kroos to score in the game. We'll give you 5-1 odds.
See how we threw the old... I'm not quite sure,
wonder-
but I'll have a go.
I wonder if I can remember.
Yeah, right.
And
You couldn't
minus
wait-
one.
You couldn't wait to read the question, could you? You knew exactly what you were going to say.
It's just in me, isn't it? It's just natural ability.
That's in you, all
I
right.
wonder if I can remember this.
Sid, how much does Kompany signing at Bayern resemble Rijkaard joining Barcelona as a manager?
Well, first things first, surely your best bet for the Champions League final is Real Madrid to be losing on 85 minutes and win the European Cup. That's the way to go, isn't it? Always.
Yeah,
It's
that's
always
very
the way
true,
to go.
isn't it? Lunin to score the winner, we've decided.
This,
Yeah, Courtois,
Yeah,
come on.
this
Come
is-
up and score the
I-
equaliser.
This is obviously where there is a difference between Rijkaard and... there's lots of differences, obviously, between Rijkaard and Kompany, but I think the main one is that when you look at these signings, when Rijkaard went to Barcelona, it's true that he didn't have a particularly great managerial career behind him in terms of success, in terms of him necessarily being someone that everybody was talking about. But Barcelona had a clear idea about what it was they wanted their identity to be. And in particular, of course, that meant a Dutch identity, in theory at least, a commitment to everyone playing, to a kind of a Cruyffist school of football. And of course, they've been advised to go for Rijkaard by Cruyff. And that, I think, is the starting point for this. And that's why the Bayern Munich signing doesn't look the same, because this doesn't feel like the product of Bayern Munich being really committed to an idea, even if everyone else didn't like it, does it? This feels much more like Bayern Munich weren't sure who they could get, and this was their best option. So in that sense, I just don't think, I don't think even kind of conceptually they're the same thing.
It's nearly been a week. Are the United board being unfair to Ten Hag, Stevie, leaving him hanging on knowing if he has a job or not?
Well, I think if you were to ask him, he'd probably say no, because that means that they're actually thinking about keeping him.
Right.
So from his point of view, he's probably not thinking, oh, these are disrespecting me, blah, blah, blah. He's probably sitting going, you know what, there's half a chance I'm still going to be here. So from the outside, I would suggest yes, because surely you know by now whether you want him or not. As we said the other night, regardless of who's available, is he the man for the job or not? And if the answer is no, then you just cut the ties and see you later. But the fact it's taking this long tells you they don't know. And as I said, from Ten Hag's point of view, this is looking better every day, the longer it goes.
This is like a VAR review that takes a little too long.
Quite a long one, yeah.
And it's, well, if you have to think about it this much, then maybe you should stick with whatever the initial decision was, whatever that decision was. And at this point, you must have known ahead of the FA Cup final what you wanted to do. But because they won it now, it's thrown everything into a spin and nobody is able to make a decision.
Stevie, if you were to be a manager again, what style of football would you rather play? Klopp, Pep or Ancelotti ball?
I think I would go with the Klopp one.
Right.
I think it would be easier to coach. It seems a lot more straightforward. It seems like every single one of the players, it would be easier to tell them exactly what you expect from them, where they need to be, what I'm looking for. I think it would be easier to coach a team that way. You know, Ancelotti's shown that he can coach how many different ways. I mean, that sounds like hard work to me. and Pep is just so... He's so manic and so... I mean,
It's intense.
It's so...
When you have time for shepherd's pie.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So, no, I would definitely like to go the Klopp route.
Before we get on to the next question, Ali, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Hold the player with my back to goal, not a whole lot of speed, but enough brain to figure out where the next pass needed to go. Give the ball to those that know what to do with it in the attacking half, get in the box, wait for a service for a tap-in.
Now, the reason I'm asking that, Sid, is that leads up to this question. If Ali ever made the move from MLS to La Liga, which team in La Liga do you think his playing style would fit best?
So you don't necessarily need to be really quick. You don't necessarily just need to produce goals from anywhere, but you need to be good at holding it, bringing it into play, and then getting in the box for a finish. It's Atletico Madrid, isn't it?
There you go. There you are, Ali.
Who do you go with?
Atletico Madrid.
Well, that may be above my pay grade, but I was thinking a little Mallorca-esque.
Everyone wants to play for Mallorca.
A little Mallorca.
Sid.
That's more of my level.
Sid has no idea how spot on he is.
Oh, there you go.
Well, because Atletico Madrid annoy everybody they play against.
And Ali annoys everyone.
And Ali would annoy because he used to get fouls for fun. He would be... Now, I've got to give him credit. The banana brains that the referees kept falling for it. And he sold it for fun. And, I mean, I'm sure there must... If there was any stats, the amount of goals that must have come from free kicks that you won, like 30 yards, 35 yards from goal, would be enormous. So he's at the perfect team.
Yep, there we go. Atletico Madrid.
Okay, all right, Cholo.
Yep.
Get ready. Come on, Simeone. I'll work hard for you, Simeone.
He'd love you. I don't care how many goals you score, get loads of free kicks.
Oh, I'll be doing that all day.
Just to that point, what the heck's going to happen to João Felix when he goes and joins Atleti on pre-season? Imagine that.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean... They have a real problem, don't they? They have a real problem deciding what to do about the João Felix situation. They're in a real mess. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he ended up back on loan at Barcelona for another season, which wasn't going to happen with Xavi, but maybe could now. From this description of Ali, by the way, he's basically the MLS version of Hugo Duro, isn't he? A guy that goes around dragging defenders to the floor and somehow gets the free kick himself.
Wow.
Well, I guess.
There you go.
I'll go with that.
A lot of backhanded compliments going on here.
I would thrive at Getafe, Sid.
Final question before we get to go to bed, Sid. Will you root for England or Spain in the Euros?
Oh, you know he's gone for
England.
Why did that take you so long?
Yeah, it was a certainty.
What's wrong with you?
It didn't take me because I was thinking about it from a purely selfish point of view. I'm following Spain, so I could quite do with Spain reaching the final if I want to see the whole tournament. So you know, and then maybe lose to England. That would be very nice.
Wow, selfish.
So that would suggest that he doesn't think England's going to win it.
Well, it does now.
But then he's an England fan, so he'll be thinking that way.
There's a lot of thinking going on here.
Yeah, exactly.
That is it. That brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you very much, Sid. You can go get some rest. Good luck to Oviedo against Eibar. You can see that on ESPN Plus, by the way.
Thank you.
See if you can spot Sid in the crowd. Thank you very much to Ali.